One morning, you look at your roommate and see their features begin to drift. Their mouth stretches toward their ears, which taper into sharp points, while deep grooves carve into their skin like a mask. When you step outside, the warping is universal. Every person in the crowd appears as a grotesque, rippling monster, despite their clothes remaining perfectly normal. Your logic remains a stable anchor. You know demons do not exist, and you are fully aware that your vision is deceiving you, a level of insight that separates this experience from a loss of reality. But because these symptoms mimic the visual descriptions of psychosis, many patients are immediately diagnosed with schizophrenia. They are often placed on antipsychotic regimens or committed to psychiatric wards for a condition that medication cannot reach. This is a mechanical failure in the brain's visual hardware, a rare condition called Prosopometamorphopsia, or PMO. PMO demonstrates that our perception of the world is a fragile construction, a rendering produced by a neural assembly line that can, under the right pressure, completely shatter. A patient with PMO can see a car, a tree, or a house with perfect clarity. The warping only triggers when they look at a human face. This happens because the brain treats faces as a unique category of data. We have a dedicated circuit called the Fusiform Face Area, or FFA, which calculates facial geometry separately from the rest of the visual world. In 1947, Joachim Bodemer documented patient B, whose case proved this hardware is divided into submodules. Patient B identified his nurse by name, yet saw her features sliding diagonally. He retrieved her identity, but his brain couldn't render her physical form. The systems responsible for who someone is and what they look like are independent assembly lines. When the physical rendering line breaks, the identity remains, but the image collapses. In hemi-PMO, a patient sees severe distortion only on one precise side of every face. This glitch occurs because the visual system handles each side as a separate stream. Left brain damage disrupts only the right half of faces. Brain scans of these patients often reveal a localized physical disruption, such as a stroke or a tumor, pressing directly into the neural highway that handles one half of the face. Because each side of the visual cortex handles only half of the center of our vision, the brain must actively stitch these two parallel hemispheric images together. PMO reveals the seams of that process, proving we perceive faces in lateralized fragments before they are fused into a single gestalt. For over a century, scientists had to rely entirely on patient descriptions to understand these distortions. That changed with Victor Sharrah, who possessed a unique visual loophole. He saw distorted faces in person, but faces on 2D screens appeared normal. Researchers at Dartmouth College realized they could use this discrepancy between 2D and 3D vision to bypass the glitch. They placed a real person next to a monitor showing a photograph of that same person. As Sharrah looked between them, the team modified the digital photo in real time until he confirmed it matched the distorted face standing beside him. The results provided the first objective look at the disorder: eyes stretched to the temples, ears drawn into tapered points, and deep, shadowed grooves in the forehead and cheeks. This reconstruction transformed PMO from a subjective psychiatric mystery into a measurable error in visual processing. Medical resolution depends on the physical cause. If the distortions are triggered by a brain tumor, surgically removing the growth often stops the interference and allows the face processing modules to reset. For Sharrah, researchers found a non-invasive solution. They discovered that altering the wavelength of light entering his eyes could change how his neural networks handled facial data. Looking through specific green-tinted lenses effectively muted the misfiring signals, allowing his brain to render faces in their normal human proportions. Distinguishing these glitches from mental health conditions prevents patients from spending years in unnecessary institutionalization, offering a biological explanation for a terrifying experience. It also reveals that human vision is a best guess generated in the dark theater of the skull, showing the intricate, fragile complexity required just to recognize each other.